Today, today, guys, we're gonna be talking about people who threaten to shoot up a school. You may think it's a joke. You may think you want to post something and make it into a joke or being serious about it, but this is like real serious. We're gonna look at articles, some of the articles from here in Corpus to others, even the very latest, from Florida to here in Corpus, here in Texas. So let's start with the very latest. Seriously, when you hear somebody talk about bringing a gun to school and then shoot and causing a mass shooting, do you think you're safe? Experts say that parents take their kids to school and they see a gun. Experts say they're afraid to go to school because of this, and kids say they're afraid because of what will happen. So when you go to school, it's a safe learning environment for all children. But today this happened as a 15-year-old student. Keep in mind, this was a 15-year-old student. He was arrested. Minor. He was arrested because he was a minor. And she said he made a threat. This is today. A 15-year-old student was arrested in Central Florida after authorities said he made an online threat to shoot up his school. He attended Seabreeze High School in Daytona Beach. He allegedly posted a comment on a video game bought from last week with a fake name, vowing to bring his father's M15 assault rifle to school and kill 7 people on a minimum, according to a statement from the sheriff's office. So, joke or not, so when you hear something like this, you don't assume that you take your children into school. You're sending them into prison. But the FBI just arrived at the teenager's house here last Friday to confirm it was an old gun. And they said, well, it was just a joke. But joke or not, these types of comments are felonies under the law. If you threaten to shoot up a school, you're gonna be under arrest for terroristic threats. Like just last year, there was a student in Flower of Love who was spending his spring break in jail because he decided to post on social media saying he was going to go shoot up Flower Bluff High School. He's a minor. He wasn't arrested. You can't arrest minors. The school's principal did not immediately respond to a request for comment Tuesday morning. This was reported to the FBI. They showed a tape of the sheriff's office. They worked on the IP address. The boy who was being banned, the boy said he insisted it was a joke. But the police arrived that morning and took him into custody with threatening to discharge a destructive device. It's under Florida state law. It's unclear whether he has obtained an attorney. And during the 2018-19 school year, the sheriff's office arrested 18 students for threatening to shoot up their schools. You just don't threaten to shoot up a school. Even though you're sitting there joking and laughing with your friends saying, I'm going to go shoot up a school, then you talk to police saying, oh, it was just a joke. Well, joke or not, that joke could be sitting up in jail. You just don't do it. But the mom says, well, he's just a little kid playing a video game. There's all this talk about whether video games can cause violence in the real world. It doesn't cause people to go take a gun and go shoot up a mess and go shoot up a school. Like, for example, would you play like an aggressive game, like can make you violent, like I don't know, a first-person shooter like Ratchet and Clank or Spider-Man? Because studies have shown that video games, I talked about this before, video games can cause aggression and violent tendencies, like Halo, Grand Theft Auto. Those can cause violent tendencies and aggression. But I've studied video games, and I even tried some experiments to see if a person who was on the autism spectrum could become aggressive through video games. Well, we're gonna have subject here, but the point is, even if you're just saying if you're just saying to your friends online that you're gonna go shoot up a school, they're still gonna find out, and you'll be under arrest for terroristic threats. Because it is a crime. And if he was to sit on the couch talking to me, he wouldn't sit. If he was to come on here, he wouldn't sit on the couch. We still got more of these articles coming up, including a former Kelly High School student who was arrested after threatening to shoot up a school with a gun. Even the one in Seabreeze. And later on, the ladies from last week from Tulsa Midway, after a minor posted that she was going to threaten to shoot up a school. But more of that when we come back. From joking about it, being very serious about it, we're talking about people who threaten to shoot up a school, who really threaten, people who threaten to bring a gun and shoot up a school, and people who got arrested. And for those who got arrested for those terroristic threats. So as we continue looking into these, I gotta tell you, I'm very passionate about this topic, as much as I'm passionate about bullying. We have to protect our schools, and we have to make them safe for students so that they don't have to be injured. That's why we have rules like no bringing a gun to school, no knives to school, don't bring any drugs. People bring drugs and just hide them in their hat. It's against the rules to wear a hat to school. And even from yesterday, this was from Seabreeze High School, from the journalline.com. Well, we just got into that. And this is from 2 days ago. This man threatens to shoot up Orange City neighborhood near school. If it's not near a school or at school, you're still going to be under arrest for terroristic threats. It may be a joke to people, but to others, it is very serious. People's lives are at stake. I mean, you may be sitting there thinking, oh, it's just a joke and stuff. But to others, it's not a joke. What if it was serious? You may be sitting there on your Xbox saying you're going to go shoot up a school and you post it on social media. It may be a joke to some people, but to others, but to me, it's not a joke. This is a very serious matter. And this just in from today. This is from the Catholic school in Altamore Springs, Orlando. This 16-year-old was arrested Wednesday after she used her sister's phone to send a text to a group chat threatening to shoot up a Catholic school in Altamore Springs. St. Mary Catholic school officials were alerted by several parents as a threat was made against the school in a group chat with sixth graders. The suspect, who detectives discovered his sister and one of the sixth graders in the chat, said to police that she wrote the text after getting upset about the phone consistently going off. She was arrested on a charge of issuing written threats to kill or conduct a mass shooting, a second-degree felony. The report said, next person to say something is the first person that will shoot on a school shooting that will take place this Friday. The police, we don't know the name because the police said, because it's due to her age. With the latest from Florida and El Paso, Texas, we have to make sure that their schools are all safe for children to go to so that they don't see this happening. That's why we can't allow people to leave campus because they want to go get food and stuff. What if a person with a gun comes across the street and it starts to fire? That be on the school because they allowed that person to leave. It's a serious issue to me and to all the others and the parents. I didn't bring a gun to school. I only bought a toy store when I was in second grade. Whether it's a sword or not, you can't bring a toy sword or toy gun. You could be under arrest. And keep in mind, this was from weeks ago. Keep in mind. And last week, a 15-year-old girl from Minnesota said that she was going to threaten to shoot up the school. This is the same thing. Otherwise, this is from social media. And then you should follow a step from that saying, as many in the public are aware, an individual made a threat to Albert Lee High School on social media. We appreciate the assistance of law enforcement on this issue. The safety of our students and staff is paramount to our school district. It's right. You cannot bring guns to school. It is like a serious issue. You may be sitting there joking on your Xbox going, I'm just going to go shoot up a school, and then make a plan for it. Like in Home Alone. It's a big deal. Because if you try to bring a gun to school, the thing that would happen is you bring a gun to school, the risk is high. You could be under arrest for terroristic threats and for bringing a loaded weapon to school. Whether if it's unloaded or loaded or unloaded, you're still going to be taken to jail for this. And this is from 6 days ago from First Coast News. The Putnam County man arrested again after he reportedly threatened to shoot up the school he attended to the second time. He was a 19-year-old. This wasn't a minor. This was a 19-year-old student. His name is Bailey Crow. And in the comments he said he had made up he threatened to shoot up the school. He was released from jail on June 14th and placed on an ankle monitor that he would alert law enforcement if he traveled within 1,000 feet of the high school. He told that he could not approach any students from the school. The sheriff said he will continue to take this seriously. Any threat made against school campus and students, it's sad that a young man taken manner. I mean, seriously, you cannot be doing that. That stuff can happen to you. It just makes me sick. We have to see something like this and think we don't want to send our kids to school. But you have to take that risk. If we're going to make something, if we were to allow students to bring guns, to bring a weapon to school to defend themselves, I think it'd be a great idea. They could become a hero. Like seriously, they could become a hero in a situation. To defend the teachers, like if they were to defend the teacher, they'd be a hero for this. You're going to result in fists. You can result in a weapon. Just to defend yourself. This was from 2 weeks ago. Now this one's from 2 weeks ago. This high schooler who threatened to shoot blacks in a racist video. This was from South Carolina. A 16-year-old who was a minor, a 16-year-old white student in South Carolina who made a racist threat to black classmates in an online video while brandishing a gun was expelled and is facing charges. Carl Newman School in Columbia, South Carolina wasted no time curbing a student who was not identified because he was a minor. He's been expelled and charged with student threats, according to the Sheriff's Department. He was taken to the juvenile wing on July 17th. In the sense-deleted video that appeared on Twitter, the disturbed teen calls himself a hater of all black men and fires a gun at a shoebox brand that says he's popular black Americans, which were Nike Air Jordans. He also started to hate that he hates blacks because they are stinky. I'm not trying to be this is just what he said. I am not being racist. This show is not racist. I take racism very seriously. The student was mainly dismissed and not permitted on school property. The next few days, when we take threats seriously, I take threats seriously. I take this show seriously. That's what the show is about. Talking about what's happening on the news, reporting it, getting to the facts, and stating my opinions. And if you're going to sit here, and if you want to sit in this area, and say and say in the camera, you're going to throw up this, and say in front of the camera that you did it, and you allowed it to happen, then you can't sit on the couch. You can't sit on my couch. You're not worthy to sit on this couch. You don't deserve to sit on this couch. If you allowed that student, your kid, to threaten a school. I just see parents that don't care about what's happening. The student gets expelled, the parents don't care, they go to find another school. You have to take this very seriously. Your child gets expelled from school, he cannot get an education, he cannot get a good job. If they were to ask you, did you complete your high school? Did you complete high school? And you say no, and they ask you, why did you not complete high school? Because I was expelled. For what? For bringing a loaded gun to school. And then you sit there and lie to your boss that you've never committed a crime. You lie to your boss, you're going to be fired. As a matter of fact, if people have committed crimes and want a job, they got to do background checks. And this was just in. This team, sorry about that. This team from Sacramento, 16-year-old boy was arrested after authorities said he posted another teen Snapchat with a threatening caption. The person that video deputies say by the captions said, video read, "Shit, if you go to LP, you better get ready to jet school shooter. Hashtag school shooter." I mean, seriously, this was a 16-year-old student. He was a minor. Deputies soon showed up at the teen's home. The boy told him that he had sent the video to the other teen to brag about the pellet rifle BB guns he had without any threatening caption. The weapons featured in the video were found to indeed the rifle. Alright. Next here, next, the latest from here in Corpus about Tuloso Midway student who was arrested for terroristic threats for bringing a weapon to shoot up at Tuloso Midway. This was the very latest. We'll look at that after the break. Alright, just last week here in Corpus, a 15-year-old student who goes to Tuloso Midway was arrested and sent to juvie for threatening to shoot up a school. That this was the very latest. This was the latest from last week. This happened here in Corpus. But they're still on the lookout after the 15-year-old girl was arrested for the Tuesday threat. This happened last week. The arrest has been made in connection with a social media threat that prompted an increased police presence Wednesday. The threats surfaced on social media Tuesday evening. The post mentioned the threats to shoot up Tuloso Midway. And because of the threat, the Corpus Christi Police Department increased their presence around the campus the following morning. Investigators determined that the suspect did not take any steps toward carrying out the threats. Because the 15-year-old student, this student was a minor. The charge is being enhanced, and the student now faces a third-degree felony. And now on Monday, the FBI reminds students that even a hoax threats have real consequences. The FBI relaunched a public awareness campaign to educate students that school threats of any kind, even their hoaxes, can have real consequences. It just becomes days after a 15-year-old was arrested for posting a fake school threat targeting Tuloso Midway. It disrupted classes, scare parents and administrators, but false arrest could mean 5 years of prison time, according to testimony from one young man. The FBI has relaunched a warning about fake threats being a serious crime with serious consequences. Cleaning tragic school shootings such as the ones at Santa Fe High School near Houston back in May and back in February. As the school year begins, making a hoax threats against a school is a federal crime. So the thing is, if you were to make a fake threat saying that you're going to go shoot up the school, that's a crime. Texas, a 19-year-old was sentenced to more than 3 years in federal prison. Kentucky, 18-year-old was sentenced to 21 months. Hang on a second, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. But as I was saying though, if you were to make a threat, whether it was a fake one or a serious one, you could be under arrest and face a lot of years in jail and be expelled for this. Because this is a serious issue here. We're talking about student safety here. And then the other case that we just talked about, I think he was racist. He was threatening the school and he was racist. You can't combine racial threats and a school shooting together because you hate some. I want to say this, I'm not racist. I get to the facts and the truth. I think to what. And you don't even need to feel the need in parent. I mean, just look at this. The parents of this 15-year-old didn't even just know about this. teenager was arrested and faces third-degree felony charge for making a terroristic threat. I would like to sit down with the parents and talk to them about what happened. So I can get to the bottom of this mystery. But you don't feel the need to talk to your kids about what is happening here? You don't look at this and figure out, why did this happen to my child? Like, I'll tell you something. If I threatened to shoot up a school, I would fess up to the truth. I would tell police everything. I would get them my information. I would send them the evidence. I wouldn't even just fake it. I would just show them the evidence. I would sit in jail for the rest of my life. I wouldn't even dare. I wouldn't even dare deny it. I would just tell the police everything that has happened. And looking at these cases that I just talked about, I feel like they deny everything. You, parents, you don't even protect your kids. You send them to school thinking that they're being safe, and then they come home shot, bruised, and dead because of all this. You have to realize that your students' safety is in our hands as long as their future. You have to be the one to understand that if you send your kids to school, they have to be the one. Safety is the most priority. I don't even think it's funny, but it ain't. If it was funny to you, it's funny to you, but it's not. But who planned to make the threats? If you were to say it yourself, then something must have triggered it. Something must have triggered that student to make a threat. Something must have happened. Looks like somebody would take a threat. So someone would take a threat like this and then smash his head. Smash their head. Smash their head. What I mean by that is they would just take the threat and then smash their way into the school with that same weapon. We're back in a moment. Just to let you guys know, next week is going to be our last week of the Back to School series. And throughout the rest of the 9 months, we're going to do some regular stories. We'll be hosting you some great new topics, going over the facts, and trying to get to the bottom of this. So, keep in mind next week's going to be our last week of the Back to School series. But before we go, I want to stress you out this. No threats. You want to threaten to go shoot up a school? You're going to spend your ass in jail with urine and feces. That would be on you. You want to spend your 4 years in jail, not getting a job? That's on you. Don't ever do it. And if I find out where that this ever happens again, I'm coming to wherever you're at. And you won't like what damn word what I said. Don't ever bring a gun to school. Because our child's safety is in our hands. Until next time, America.